Human Resource Management/HRM Guide. Chapter 1. Basic HRM to run a business. HRM Commandments. For the record, the basic commandments/assumptions of good HRM are as follows. Be a role model. Provide a clear vision for the company and go in that direction. Make and keep the organization simple and organized. Share information. Talk to workers in clear, simple terms. Delegate/assign jobs that are challenging but not over-stressful. Hire good people up front. Pay them well. Offer interesting work and opportunities for advancement. Offer family-friendly options like childcare, pregnancy leave, telecommuting for some work, flexible options like leaving early to pick up kids and make up for it another time, etc. Develop a team atmosphere. Have a good communication system in place where you talk to employees and they can to you if they want. Get rid of bad employees. Bad apples pollute the others. HRM as a tool of inspiration. HRM is generally considered another tedious, dull area of the corporate structure, but the HR professionals themselves counter this, saying they're there for organizational effectiveness, organizational enhancement, inspiration, the source of the competitive edge, etc. They try to provide a nice workplace, a pleasant environment, educational materials, learning programs in relevant subjects, and occasionally, from time to time, they have seminars and workshops away from the office with all kinds of wacky, wonderful things, some of which are controversial at best. What they're trying to do is inspire the workers because they believe that the core of any successful company is its workers. It's their job to believe this, namely the management team, which is why they try all these corporate games and challenges to supposedly try to get these people to work together more, develop a trust in each other, get creative, inspired, on fire, etc. Some people think it's all a pile of bull but go along with it because it's a tax write-off anyway, another business expense. These managers need a break, need to be rewarded, need to be made to feel special and inspired for a minute by the corporations so that hopefully they can go back to their jobs thankful with a new edge, ready to be productive, loyal, and strive for superiority for Mother Corporation, Inc. They've developed a big pseudoscience and field of study around the concept of HRM with all kinds of fancy-sounding gimmicks and slogans like, intangible assets, people, create tangible benefits, stock value, but to my way of thinking, you are who you are as an individual and as a group of people working together. Artificial brainstorming sessions, public speaking courses, putting on skits for one another, doing a wilderness challenge together don't really do much intellectually, creatively, or even bonding together. I don't buy it much, but the HR professionals do. This is their bread and butter, their saving grace, their raison d'etre. This is where their paycheck comes from. This is what they went to college for, so you can rest assured they will be the cheerleaders for this field because of their investment in it, regardless of how hokey and Mickey Mouse it seems at times. To my way of thinking, all abilities and motivation is intrinsic. You either have the spark inside of you, you create the motivation yourself through hard work from an inspired place within you, or you don't have it and all the training sessions and pep rallies in the world won't give them to you. I say get good, self-motivated employees up front. Don't get average employees then try to light them on fire with stupid workshops designed to make them the super-duper employees they're not. I went through all this in officer training in the military. Can leaders be made or are they born? I believe you have to have this certain spark already within you. If you don't, they can train you be an organized bureaucrat and possibly inspire you for a day or two, but you can't change who you are in your soul. List of HRM topics. Abilities. Academic advising. Affirmative action. Age discrimination. Age discrimination in employment. Act of 1967, ADEA. All Port Vernon Lindsay Study of Values. American Counseling Association. American Psychological Association. Anticipatory socialization. Antisocial work behaviors. Apprenticeships. Armed Services Vocational. Aptitude Battery, ASVAB. Aspirations in Career Decisions. Assessment Centers. assimilation and mutual acceptance. Bennett Mechanical comprehension test. Biculturalism. Big 5 factors of personality. Blue-collar workers. Boundaryless career. Bridge employment. Burnout. Business simulations. Butcher treatment planning. Inventory, BTPI. California Psychological Inventory. Campbell Interest and Skill Survey. Career. Career anchors. Career appraisal. Career as a calling. Career centers. Career change. Career coaching. Career construction theory. Career counseling. Career counseling competencies. Career decision-making styles. Career decision scale, CDs. Career development. Inventory. Career education. Career exploration. Career goal. Career indecision. Career interruptions. Career intervention outcomes. Career investments. Career maturity. Career mobility. Career motivation. Career planning workshops. Career plateau. Career salience. Career satisfaction. Career strategy. Career success. Career thoughts inventory. Career transition. Careers in health. Center for Creative Leadership. Child care practices. Churning of jobs. Circumscription and compromise. Civil Rights Act of 1964. Civil Rights Act of 1991. Cognitive differentiation grid. Cognitive information processing. In-career counseling. Collective bargaining. College student career development. Comparable worth. Compensation. Computer-based career support. Systems. Contingent employment. Continuing professional. Education. Cooperative education. Copreneurship. Cross-training. Crossover effect. Crystallization of the vocational. Self-concept. Culture in careers. Customized careers. Derailment. Differential aptitude testing. Disabilities among college students. Disability. Diversity in organizations. Domestic partner benefits. Downsizing. Early career stage. Early retirement. Elder care practices. Electronic employment screening. Emotional intelligence. Emotional labor. 7. List of entries. FMVOLI Greenhouse.qxd April 12, 2006 5:00 p.m. Page 7. Employability. Employee assistance programs. Employee participation in organizational decision-making. Employment advertising. Employment contracts. Employment at will doctrine. Empowerment. Entrepreneurship. Environment awareness. Equal employment opportunity. Commission, EEOC. Equal Pay Act. Erickson's theory of development. Ethics in careers. Executive coaching. Exit interview. Expatriate experience. Fair Labor Standards Act, FLSA. Family and Medical Leave Act, FMLA. Family background and careers. Family responsive workplace. Practices. Fast track career. FIROB. Flexible work arrangements. Gender and careers. General aptitude test battery. GATB. Glass ceiling. Globalization and careers. Hall occupational orientation. Inventory. Handwriting analysis in hiring. History of career studies. Holland's theory of vocational choice. Hostile working environment. Human capital. Human resource information systems, HRIS. Human resource planning. Human resource support systems. Identity. Impression management. Individual career management. Industrial revolution. Inequality. Informational interview. Integrity testing. Intelligence, schooling, and occupational success. Interests. Internal labor markets. International careers. Internet career assessment. Internet recruitment. Internships. Job challenge. Job design. Job fairs. Job interviews. Job involvement. Job loss. Job posting programs. Job rotation. Job satisfaction. Job search. Job security. Job sharing. Knowledge work. Knowledge, skills, and abilities. KSAs. Cuter career assessments. Late career stage. Leadership development. Learning organization. Learning styles. Leisure interests. Lifestyle inventory. Life career rainbow. Lifelong learning. Lifestyle preferences. Lockstep career progression. Locus of control. Low-income workers and careers. Machiavellianism. Mentoring. Merit-based pay. Metaphors for careers. Middle career stage. Midlife crisis. Minnesota clerical test. Minnesota multiphasic personality. Inventory 2, MMPI 2. Minnesota theory of work. Adjustment. Morale. Motivation in career. Development. Multicultural organization. Multinational organization. Multiple intelligences. Myers-Briggs type indicator. National Career Development. Association. National Labor Relations Act. NLRA. Needs. Nepotism. Networking. Obsolescence of knowledge and skills. Occupational card sorts. Occupational choice. Occupational classification. Systems. Occupational commitment. Occupational information. Network, O*net. Occupational Outlook Handbook. Occupational prestige. Occupational professionalization. Occupational stereotypes. On-the-job training. Organizational career. Management. Organizational citizenship. Behavior. Organizational commitment. Organizational entry. Organizational image. Organizational justice. Organizational politics. Organizational socialization. Organizational staffing. Orientation. Outplacement. Outsourcing and offshoring. 8 Encyclopedia of Career Development. fmvolleygreenhouse.qxd April 12, 2006 5:00 p.m. Page 8. List of entires 9. Part-time employment. Pay compression. Pay for performance reward. Systems. Performance appraisal and feedback. Person environment fit, PE fit. Personal globe inventory. Personality and careers. Personnel selection. Phased retirement. Positive organizational. Scholarship. Proactivity. Procedural justice. Protean career. Psychological contract. Pygmalion effect. Quality of work life, QWL. Racial discrimination. Rater errors in performance. Appraisal. Realistic recruitment. Recruitment. Redeployment. References for employment. Reinforcement theory. Religious discrimination. Resume. Retention programs. Retirement. Retraining. Reverse discrimination. Reverse mentoring. Rokiak Values Survey. Role models. Sabbaticals. School to work transition. Self-awareness. Self-concept. Self-directed search, SDS. Self-efficacy. Self-esteem. Self-leadership. Self-monitoring. Sex discrimination. Sexual harassment. Sexual orientation and careers. Single parents and careers. 16. Personality. Questionnaire, 16pf. Social capital. Social cognitive career theory. Social constructionism. Social learning theory of career development. Socioeconomic status. Specialty choice. Spirituality and careers. Stanford Binet intelligence scale. Stereotyping of workers. Strategic human resource management, SHRM. Stress at work. Strong interest inventory. Succession planning. Supers career development theory. Sweatshop labor. Team-based work. Technology and careers. Telecommuting. Thematic apperception tests. TAT. 360 degree. 360 degrees, evaluation. Tokenism. Tolerance for ambiguity. Toxic leadership. Training and development. Tuition reimbursement. Turnover. Two career relationships. Type A behavior pattern. Unbiased hiring systems. Underemployment. Unemployment. Values. Virtual expatriates. Vocational education. Vocational preference inventory. VPI. Vocational psychology. Wechsler intelligence scales. Welfare to work programs. Wellness and fitness programs. White-collar work. Wonderlic personnel test. Work ethic. Work values. Work values inventory. Work-family balance. Work-family conflict. Work-family enrichment. Work/life litigation. Workaholism. Worker Adjustment and Retraining Notification Act of 1992, WARN. Workforce 2020. Workplace romance. Wrongful dismissal. Chapter 2. Human Resources Issues. Compensation and Employee Benefits Management. A9.com/compensation. ABBOTT-LANGER.com, Salary and Benefits Survey Reports. Benefits Consulting, BRAvanta.com, Employee Incentive Programs to help business increase employee motivation. Business Improvement Consultancy. CCIComp.com, Executive Compensation and CCStrategies.com. CDGWorldwide.com, Compensation Design Group. CLEHC.co.za, South African Human Resources Consultancy. CollettiFist.com, Arizona. COMPENSATION-ONLINE.com. CompensationResources.com, Consulting Firm. CompExec.com, Compensation Planning and Competitive Salary Survey Analysis Software System. CORDOM-SALARY-SURVEYS.com, Salary Surveys of National and Regional Nonprofit Organizations based in Washington, D.C. PsyCaseTHR.com, HR Outsourcing, Atlanta. DSurveys.com. EffectiveCompensation.com. EMPSite.com. EarnWest.com, Employer Resources Northwest. FennelPromotions.com, Travel Incentives. FootPartners.com. FoxLawson.com. FUTURE-SYSTEMS.net, Payroll Processor, Cedar Rapids, IA. GRG.com, Grassroots Group, European. HRAMP.com, HR Advanced Management Practices. iAwards.com, Employee Awards, Recognition and Incentive Programs. ICRLTD.com. JIROCOAssociates.com. LawrenceAssociates.com, compensation consulting for healthcare, colleges and universities, Wellesley, Ma. Lipisconsulting.com. Masternak.com, profit sharing and team-based compensation plans. MikasSoc.com, California. MetLife.com/applications/corporate. NQBenefits.com, non-qualified employee benefit plan information. OmuraConsulting.com. Payscale.com. PhilipBlount.com. Planning, Inc., Philadelphia. QTBServices.com, administration of qualified. Radford.com. Redmatch.com. RehabOnSite.com, employer-based disability management programs. RemunetAssociates.com. RMIS.com. SalarySurveys.milliman.com, Northwest. SCPSmartPay.com, strategic compensation. StrategicCompensationPartners.com. Tandhill.com, Chicago. TBGFinancial.com. THairSource.com. Todderg.com. ToplineSalesComp.com. TOTAL-COMPENSATION-SERVICES.ca, executive compensation, incentive bonus plans, stock options. Transportation benefits programs. Zapcomp.com, recover overcharges on workers' compensation insurance. Employee benefits info. Big companies hire a person or an entire department to take care of payroll and benefits. These websites offer some information and consultants for hire who can help you with your payroll and benefits logistics. dol.gov/ebsa, Employee Benefits Security Administration. Benefits.net, Employers Council on Flexible Compensation. Benefitslink.com. Allaboutthebenefits.com. iloverewards.com/employee_benefit. Benefitscouncil.com. efebp.org, International Foundation of Employee Benefit Plans. ebri.org, Employee Benefit Research Institute. Benefitsattorney.com/child/index1.html, Employee Benefits Legal Resource Site. dol.gov/ebsa, Employee Benefits Security Administration. bls.gov/ncs/ebs, Employee Benefits Survey. erlimited.com, International Human Resource, Employee Benefit, Compensation, Salary Survey Services. efebp.org, International Foundation of Employee Benefits. efebp.org/jobs, Employee Benefit Plans. efebp.org/jobs/index.html, Benefits, HR Professionals Job Postings by the International Foundation of Employee Benefit Plans. bpatpa.com, Benefit Plan Administrators. ceb.org, Council on Employee Benefits. ingemployeebenefits-us.com, a9.com/compensation. abbott-langer.com, Salary and Benefits Survey Reports. bravanta.com, Employee Incentive Programs to help business increase employee motivation. ccicomp.com, Executive Compensation and ccstrategies.com. cdgworldwide.com, Compensation Design Group. clhc.co.za, South African Human Resources Consultancy. collettifis.com, Arizona. compensation-online.com. compensationresources.com, consulting firm. compexec.com, compensation planning and competitive salary survey analysis software system. cordom-salary-surveys.com, salary surveys of national and regional nonprofit organizations based in Washington, D.C. psycase.thr.com, HR outsourcing, Atlanta. dsurveys.com. effectivecompensation.com. empsite.com. earnwest.com, Employer Resources Northwest. Fennelpromotions.com, travel incentives. Foodpartners.com. Foxlawson.com. future-systems.net, payroll processor, Cedar Rapids, IA. grg.com, grassroots group, European. hramp.com, HR advanced management practices. iawards.com, employee awards, recognition and incentive programs. icrltd.com. jirocoassociates.com. lawrenceassociates.com, compensation consulting for healthcare, colleges and universities, Wellesley, Ma. lipizconsulting.com. masternak.com, profit sharing and team-based compensation plans. mikassoc.com, California. metlife.com/applications/corporate. nqbenefits.com, non-qualified employee benefit plan information. omuraconsulting.com. payscale.com. philipblount.com. qtbservices.com. radford.com. redmatch.com. rehabonsite.com, employer-based disability management programs. remunetassociates.com. rmis.com. salariessurveys.milliman.com, Northwest. scpsmartpay.com, strategic compensation. strategicCompensationPartners.com. tandhill.com, Chicago. tbgfinancial.com. thairsource.com. todderg.com. toplinesalescomp.com. total-compensation-services.ca, executive compensation, incentive bonus plans, stock options. zapcomp.com, recover overcharges on workers' compensation insurance. International Foundation of Employee Benefit Plans. 18700 West Blue Mound Road. POB 69. Brookfield, Wisconsin 53008. 414-786-6700. Fax 414-786-6647. efebp.org. For Employee Benefit Plans Administrators. Employee Retirement Income Security Act/ERISA. Severance pay falls under the Employee Retirement Security Act of 1974, ERISA, which changes regularly, so if you're designing a severance package program, you or your HR people/lawyer should look at the latest version of it. When you hire employees, you are regulated by the Employee Retirement Income Security Act/ERISA, which does not require employers to provide medical, retirement or any other benefits to employees, but having happy employees is really the final goal of company owners, which is why they offer benefits. ERISA regulates how benefits must be administered if the employer decides to provide them. Given the complexity of ERISA requirements, employers may seek the assistance of an attorney, CPA firm, investment or brokerage firm and other employee benefit consultants in complying with the law. The information is too tedious to include here, so I refer you to go directly to the source. Get the booklet OSHA, Employee Workplace Rights and Small Business Handbook, Laws, Regulations, and Technical Assistance Services. Ask for specific information about anything else you're concerned with. Boston or isalaw.com, erisaclaims.com. erisaclaims.com/blog/index.cfmla.w.cornell.edu/uscode/29/ch18.html. eric.org/index.htm, ERISA Industry Committee. freeRISA.com. benefitslink.com. erisaclaim.com/claim_recovery.htm. Medical services for companies. workplacemedical.com, Workplace Medical Corp. Pre-employment testing/employment testing. The tests given to job applicants fall into several categories. 1. Aptitude tests predict your intuitive ability in that field. 2. Job knowledge and proficiency tests measure what you know and what you can do in a job, for example, word processing speed for a secretary job, knowledge of street names and routes for a firefighter job, etc. 3. Literacy tests measure reading and arithmetic levels. 4. Personality tests help identify your personal style in dealing with tasks and other people. Certain personalities can be well suited for some jobs and not so well suited for other jobs. For example, an outgoing person may be well suited for a sales job. They want to see if you fit in working with other people. Some people can't. 5. Honesty and integrity tests evaluate the likelihood of stealing and trustworthiness of applicants. 6. Physical ability tests measure strength, flexibility, stamina, and speed for jobs that require physical performance. 7. Medical tests determine physical fitness to do a job. 8. As far as I know, genetic screening tests are currently illegal, but employers can do this easily while their doctors conduct a routine medical checkup. They just get a bit of blood, some skin scraping or a bit of hair at the follicle, and they can test a person's genetic code for genetic predisposition for genetically inspired diseases. Then they can quietly disqualify candidates with genetic predispositions for diseases. 9. Drug tests show the presence of illegal drugs that could impair job performance and threaten the safety of others. For a big company, it's better to spend a few extra bucks on tests to weed out undesirables rather than hiring people who will cause problems later. Find out if any type of pre-employment test will be used by looking in the job posting or on the HR section of the company website. Take a close look at the qualifications and skills listed on the job description. Those are the skills for which you are going to be tested. Employers must be able to show that pre-employment tests used to make hiring decisions test skills relevant to the job being filled. Employers must also take measures to ensure that pre-employment tests do not unfairly screen out people with disabilities. Tests must measure a job candidate's knowledge, attributes and skills, not his or her disabilities. The following websites help an employer or human resources manager find information and consultants for assessing and testing your employees and job candidates. 360-feedback.us 4tests.com accordsist.com, Employee Assessment Tools, Consulting Services. ammconsult.com allpointsfeedback.com, Managing your employee review process. am-coach.com anagrampeople.co.uk, Psychometric testing. appraisal-smart.com aptitudetestingservices.com aptitudetestsonline.com assess-strategies.com axiomsoftware.com bigby.com, consulting for hiring or promoting employees, employee training and development. brainbench.com, technical skills testing and certification service. brainsbuilder.com bsrpink.com, behavioral sciences research. business-marketing.com/html/mtesting.html calipercanada.com, employee assessment test, Canada. careerbridge.com.au sensocorp.com checkster.com chrysaliscorporation.com clearlearning.com cmypeople.com cognology.biz computerpsychologist.com, psychological testing. consultingtools.com cppq.com, career assessment center. craftsystems.com criteriacorp.com, pre-employment tests. culturemetrics.com datachecking.com, pre-employment history background screening company. datadome.com, evaluates assessment tools. drmercer.typepad.com/pre-employment_testing. easiconsult.com edgetrainingsystems.com employeeselect.com, sales aptitude test, employee personality testing. employerskillstests.com employment-testing.com ntest.com Inquirewithin.co.nz, interactive interviewing tool which evaluates people. Entgiris.com, profiling software. epfl.net/slrc/job/teststudy.html, index to test study guides. epub9.com, identifies high-performing applicants. epsilon-tech.com, helps companies hire the right. ergometrics.org, tests for personnel assessment. e-selex.com, products for performance measurement. eskill.com. etest.net. ets.org, testing. e-validator.com. examsdirect.com. executivetalentassessments.com. experttrading.com/employers.asp. expv.com. fadvassessments.com. fairtest.com, National Center for Fair and Open Testing. focusfit.com. focusforward.com. freeassessmenttools.com. genial.com/newhiretesting/default.asp. higherdimensions.com/pages/drug_test.htm. highersuccess.com, pre-employment personality profile tests and aptitude testing. hrsftwaresolutions.com. i4-talent.com. ikemnet.com/products/assessments_call c.cfm, call center assessments, pre-hire testing, employee testing. indymall.com/test. infiniteassessment.com. inqhire.com. instantcert.com. instigatesolutions.com. istudysmart.com. jobq.com. jobfitting.com. Leadership, Training and Development Potential. learnatist.com. loma.org. monogurtesting.com. mastersprep.com. mckenziemanagement.com/employeetesting.htm. medotsystem.com. nationallearning.com. ncsacademy.com/employers/employer programs.cfm, employee testing and assessment. newhiretesting.com. onlinelearning101.com. performancedimensions.com. personalitytesting.com. personalinsights.com. precisehire.com, pre-employment screening service offering background check services for tenant and pre-employment screening. pre-employmenttsts.com. provisor.com, personality and behavior tests. sciasia.com. psychcorp.com, test seller. qbtests.com, QuickBooks skills assessment exams. quantumperformancegroup.com. racameron.com. salesskillstesting.com. salestistonline.com. selectinformation.com, investigation firm specializing in pre-employment screening. skill-force.com/employee_testing.htm. skillstrack.com. smartmoves-consulting.com/employee-orientation-retention-survey.php. staftrack.com/work.htm, employee screening specializing in criminal records, credit reports, workers' comp records, education verification, credentialing, driving records, and work history. hire-safe.com, pre-employment background checking and screening, criminal records, drug testing, driving records. studybeans.com. studyguidezone.com. superbstaff.com. super-solutions.com/screening and dte-sting employees.asp. talentquest.com. tapdance.com. test.com. testbooksonline.com. testprepresearch.com. testprepreview.com. waldentesting.com. webexaminer.com. workskillsfirst.com. RightAnyConsulting.com, XLE.com, ZERORISKHR.com, web-based hiring and retention solutions. Genetic test for predisposition for diseases. They take the DNA from the saliva sample you send them and test it for genetic markers for a number of diseases. These tests are more complex for other DNA tests where they're just establishing the genetic code of an individual and looking for similarities with other people. They have mapped the genes such that they know if a certain configuration appears on a certain gene, it indicates a strong possibility for a certain genetic disease. You can get genetic tests done on dogs to see if they have the genetic predisposition for diseases. As far as I know, genetic screening tests are currently illegal in the workplace, but employers can do this easily while their doctors conduct a routine medical checkup. They just get a bit of blood, some skin scraping or a bit of hair at the follicle and they can test a person's genetic code for genetic predisposition for genetically inspired diseases. Then they can quietly disqualify candidates with genetic predispositions for diseases. I've read about companies doing this with new job candidates, and if they find a genetic predisposition for certain diseases, they don't hire the guy or girl because they don't want to be stuck paying for the medical treatment somewhere down the line. I also heard of some companies using genetic test results as a basis to get rid of some workers or not renew their contracts. 23andme.com. STLmalta.com offers commercial DNA sequencing, genetic identification, and clinical tests for genetic disorders. Integrity/personality testing. An employer is allowed to test applicants to see if they have skills for the job. They're allowed to use professionally developed tests that don't have a discriminatory bias built into them. They must give the tests uniformly to all applicants and not just to select ones. Along with urine tests, many employers are now starting to screen their employees up front for such issues as honesty and pro-social personality traits. Many employers give prospective employees a personality test but lie to them saying it's an aptitude test when it's really a test to determine if you're trustworthy or not. Beware of any such tests. The personality tests generally consist of a bunch of questions with supposed built-in measures to detect whether a person is antisocial or deceptive. The thing is that anyone with half a brain simply fills in the answers they think the tester wants to see, but don't go overboard. For example, if a question asks if you've ever lied before, answer yes because everybody has, but if it asks if you've ever stolen anything from a store before, answer no because there are a lot of us who haven't, and the general line of reasoning is once a thief, always a thief. The biggest thing employers look for is someone who doesn't steal, whether it be time theft or actual property. Employers hate people who steal from them. Many employers are now running credit checks and even criminal checks on potential employees. With computer databases, it's very cheap and easy, less than $10 a shot. It's worth it to them if they spot a potential bad apple before he has a chance to exploit the company. The most common personality test is called the Minnesota Multiphasic Personality Test, MMPI, with over 600 questions at last revision. Some of the scales it's supposed to measure are lying, defensiveness, mental illness, and social introversion. Many tests are derived from the MMPI, like the Hogan Employee Reliability Index/HERI, which measures hostility to rules, thrill-seeking impulsiveness, social insensitivity, and alienation. You can check out general personality tests at the bookstore or go to the psychology section at the library, number 150-159, find a general psychology book and brush up on your so-called pro-social personality traits. Ask the reference librarian for the definitive book called the Mental Measurements Yearbook/MMY. When filling out any type of personality/integrity test, answer it as though you're a straight-laced, conservative Christian type. That's the best advice I can give. Everything comes down to attitude. You gotta act like a happy camper, satisfied with your life. Be cool. Don't be too straight-laced. Play it middle ground. Keep an eye out for trick questions that are meant to catch you in a lie. If they ask if you've ever masturbated, which I saw as a question in one of these tests, answer yes because it's normal and everybody does it. If they ask if you've ever had homosexual thoughts, play it safe and answer no even if you're gay and want the job. Another form of integrity test is simply a questionnaire with a lot of questions about your childhood. Answer as though you had a normal, stable upbringing, and although you tussled with your siblings now and then, if anybody picked on them, you were right there to stick up for them. Don't admit to large debts. Don't be cynical. If they ask how many people you think steal, answer low like 10%. Have a morally absolute structure, like say you don't tolerate stealing and you'd turn in a thief if you caught him. Don't act like you're too materialistic or money hungry. Don't act like a troublemaker/rebel/radical. Your potential employer might give you a test of intelligence or aptitude to see how smart you are, like an intelligence quotient/IQ test. Check out books either at a bookstore or at the library, psychology section, number 150-159, or the education section, number 370-379. Some other tests are the Porteus maze test, a so-called intelligence test which consists of drawing lines through a maze. The Rorschach ink blot test is a psychoanalytical test where the guy shows you an ink blot design, you say what you see and he infers that you are projecting, which means that whatever is happening in your life you will see in the ink blots. They might even secretly analyze your handwriting. In the end, if you know you've been denied employment based on your performance of a so-called integrity test, try contacting the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission or a lawyer to see if you can sue them in a civil lawsuit. INTEGCTR.com, company which does background checks, urine tests, etc. on employees and potential employees. Kiersey.com. Bytests.com. 877-972-9388. Wonderlic Employee Tests. 1509 North Milwaukee Avenue, Liberty Villa, Illinois 60048. 800-963-7542. Wonderlic.com. Tests for employees. Get the catalog, buy the test in advance if you know you are going to take it.